Welcome back to Houston Live. It is National Sandwich Month, and we are highlighting the brand new restaurant Yuma on Washington Avenue.
Yuma combines Brazilian and Cuban flavors to create tasty cocktails, sandwiches, and bar bites. Joining us now with more on how it all came together. It's very cute, by the way.
Yes.
Leek-Meira, the co-owner, along with your husband, who's on what, baby duty?
So not baby duty. Grandma's on baby duty. He's on kitchen duty.
Wow. I mean, opening a restaurant, you all wear a lot of hats. You have a young toddler, right? You and your husband started this. The restaurant started as a pop-up. Was the goal always to end up in a brick-and-mortar space?
Absolutely, yeah. And actually, we never imagined we would be setting up kitchens outdoors and doing pop-ups the way we did, but it really organically worked. And now I kind of swear by it. I think that without that, how do you have the confidence to go into the world? And without some people saying, I like it.
It's almost like you're testing the waters before opening the doors, right? You can see how the lines of people line up that way. I love the story, though. I want to hear about how you and your husband met.
Oh, okay. So we both worked for Clark Cooper Concepts back in the day. I joined Brasserie 19, where he was the exec sous chef. In 2021 when Ibiza Food and Wine Bar closed. So I got transferred over, and we were both in our own separate relationships at the time. Fast forward about a year, those, things happened, and a couple months later, we got together, and we've been together ever since. And now we have a 19-month-old, and we also share my 7-year-old from my first marriage.
Okay.
So who's the real boss, though? Like, he listens to you,
the
right?
19-month-old.
Yeah, actually, really, she is. But no, I mean, it's fun because we already worked together and had such a good professional rapport based in respect and just admiration for what each other brought to the table before we even started dating. So our professional relationship is actually very smooth. People always say, how could you possibly, be in business with your partner? I could never do that. And it's like, well, we actually started that way first. So it works for us. Good. It doesn't work for all.
A great sign that you two really like each other.
Yeah.
The dynamic of having a toddler in the mix, though, describe to us what that is like. We saw the photo of your baby strapped to your husband's chest while you're in the kitchen working. Baby didn't slow you down.
No, she's been doing this her whole life. So she loves guests. She loves people. She smiles at them. I mean, of course, now that we're in a full brick and mortar and there are a lot more moving pieces and tighter quarters, because in the pop-up, I mean, it is tight quarters, but we don't have other people in our way. So now we're having to kind of pass her along family member to family member. But given that she's 19 months old, that only started a month or two ago.
Yeah.
So that's new to her.
Right.
And so she's always been with us. And even now, if we can't if a grandma's busy, she comes with us.
Drop her off here at Houston Life.
Yeah, we'll watch her.
We'll feed her.
Sounds good, great.
Let's talk about the menu, though. Speaking of food, let's talk about the menu. You guys have a reimagined Cuban sandwich. Where do some of these flavors come from? How do you test the waters there to reimagine such a sandwich?
Okay, well, my dad can tell you I've always broken all the rules. I've always done whatever I want. So how it really started is our partner, she's Cuban, and she came to us saying, hey, I want good Cuban bread. There's none of that here. And we had a bakery at the time. So we baked her some Cuban bread. And as it was baking, I go, oh my gosh, it smells like Brazil. That's insane. So
Brazil, where your family is from.
Yes, sorry, where my family is from. So it really was reminiscent of every single day my grandpa would go to the local bakery and pick up the daily bread and that scent, right? So I was like, where are all these connections? I started doing all this research and finding that all these similarities between Cuban and Brazilian cooking in the scarcity and what that bred in our cuisines. And so we found all these connections and just kind of started having fun with it. And this sandwich concept was born. And a lot of it is rooted in our family and heritages. So we do things like a Cuban Vietnamese hybrid sandwich, a Cubano banh mi, because that's based on her niece, who's half Cuban, half Vietnamese, and her name is Penny, hence the El Penny. We also bring Brazilian traditional dishes to the forefront, but in the form of a sandwich. So while you might not recognize what it is, it's in a sandwich. Who doesn't like a sandwich? And it has a sauce, it has a cheese, it has, the proteins. So I like to kind of play with really traditional dishes and then reimagine them through the prism of the Cuban.
And it's mainly because all these guests probably smell these things and it reminds them of their home, right? And
or something they know.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, Brazil is really known for its churrascarias, the steak houses, right? Well, for our steak sandwich, we just took that meat that everyone's so familiar with and sliced it super thin and turned it into like a Brazilian cheesesteak, right? So sauteed onions, chimichurri, and that really thinly sliced steak and 2 different kinds of cheese. it's very recognizable. Now, if I were to tell you all the authentic Brazilian ingredients, you might be like, well, I don't know what those are, but I do know what cheese is, right?
Right.
So we have a lot of fun with it. And we always kind of start with something that is really familiar, and then we say, how can we change it up? How can we make this different?
Well, I think it's really, this is such a Houston story.
Yeah.
Like you go to a restaurant and you're not just getting one type of food. You're really having all of these cultures blending together and manifesting through the menu.
Absolutely. That's a perfect way to put that.
Oh.
It's the most Houston thing ever.
Oh.
So we do say that. We say that it's, rooted in in the friendship with our Cuban friend, then rooted in my Brazilian heritage, but then informed by Houston. Because at the end of the day, all three of us were raised in Houston at some formative part of our life, if not all of it.
That's so cool. You don't go anywhere, Mariam, because coming up next, she's going to show us how to make her version of the classic cubano sandwich. That is coming up next when Houston Life returns. I hope you're hungry, because I am.
It's lunchtime. Let's eat.